What's up, guys? This is Heis. Today we're playing Railroads Online once again with my buddy Con. Last time we laid the route down to the smelter, and this time we're gonna run our first cordwood train over the alignment and see how it goes. Let's get into it.
Heis, I noticed you've bought some wonderful cordwood cars here. We've got some nice looking yellow with white text, always the best.
Just
combo.
absolutely very bright and very easy to read. Yeah, on the shadow side, it's a little easier rather than the sun side of the map, but yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Yeah, that is a little bit. That's
maybe
a little bit better.
Black text would be better. Yeah, but
I love how you bought the cars and already they're out of numbered order. Like,
well,
you know, so
the first one I bought was the 300, and then I went to go buy the 302, and I couldn't remember if I started at 300 or 301 because that's how hard life is sometimes. So I made it 302 just in case, and then I realized I checked and I was like, okay, then 301. But because it spawns first and then you back in 303, yeah, it's a whole mess. But anyways,
all right, let's double run this train in first person. Okay, let's go. How would this work?
Oh God. Oh, okay.
What would one person be doing?
Well, so one person's the engineer, one person's the fireman. So in the case of Railroads Online, you sit over there and you put fire and you put wood in there, and then you sit and wait, and then the other guy does everything else.
Oh, really? Like the other guy's brakes, reverser, throttle,
throttle, everything. The engineer is responsible for everything about the movement of the train. So like when you're talking about like a standard train crew in this era, choo-choo. Yes, the whistle's mine too.
Oh,
Con, the bell's yours. You can play with the bell.
I'm gonna pull the bell. Okay, you know what?
He's got it. So when you talk about like a standard train crew in this era of railroading, you had at least a 5-man crew. So you had an engineer, fireman, conductor, and then 2 brakemen, head brakeman and rear brakeman. And so the engineer's responsibility is making sure that the locomotive is operated correctly, operated safely. He's kind of the boss of the locomotive, and he's the one who actually runs the train. As well, if anything crops up mechanically that fails on the locomotive, that's why he's an engineer and not a driver. Britain, I stare at you. Our engineers, you know, if you got stranded in the wilderness with a mechanical failure, you had to be ready to fix it. So the engineers got to be really intimately familiar with the locomotive.
So the British railway system uses drivers that are separate from engineers?
They call them drivers. They don't have engineers. They have drivers. Their drivers are people that know how to drive and operate the locomotive, but not necessarily fix it. And that's because Britain, I mean, you never really were that far away from anything that was, you know, a major stopping point because of how dense and combined the British rail network was.
Yeah, I find British people are really dense. I agree.
Well, you know, I didn't say it. He said it. But yeah, it definitely was a thing where there was so many terminal points and so many places that the locomotives were repaired that you didn't really have to worry about being stranded in the middle of nowhere like we do in the States with our dense, you know, or less dense rail network.
Well, it was like I was talking to some friends from Europe the other day, and like actually the Zapkus Debs, and he lives in like the Netherlands or something, right? And he was like, I was like, oh, I gotta go visit my family, and he's like, well, how far away is your family? I'm like, I don't know, it's like a 5-hour drive from where I live. He's like, dude, if I drove for 5 hours, I'd be in like 3 different countries. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not even out of the one province if I drive for 5 hours, man. I gotta like.
Welcome to Canada and the States. All right, I got the switch.
Welcome to North America, like big lands.
Yeah, I can drive for 5 hours and not make it to the other side of Colorado. So.
Yeah, we're just not gonna talk about the floating switch. I'll fix that at some point.
It's fine. I didn't see it. It's fine.
I will say though, Heis and I spent some time after the last episode, and we completely redesigned the smelter.
And by Heis and I, he means him, and I provided consulting input.
Well, he watched. Yeah, I did stream it on Discord, in fact, so you could watch it. So that was exciting.
So we're putting it. You know, I got to see it happen real time. I got it.
But we made this. We made a setup that I think is really cool. It's an actual like shunt yard setup. We'll talk more about it when we get there. But it's an actual shunt yard setup with shunting lanes and all sorts of shunting things required, because the smelter is really a hard spot to make a nice tight loop. The loops are not really, they're they're like 30 meter, 40 meter radius, and that's just too tight of a turn. So in order to make nice gradual smooth curves, you have to actually make a proper shunt yard where you have to back in, separate your train, load it up, and all sorts of stuff. So we're gonna do some of that, and it should be a fun area just in general to
I'm pretty excited to see how it
build
works out,
trains.
because it's definitely a much more realistic setup as far as an industry goes. Obviously,
Right.
I'm still envious of how well you set up the sawmill for us for efficiency, but that's really not terribly realistic in terms of what would really be operated and how it would happen. But this smelter setup's going to be pretty cool, so make sure you stick around. It's going to be a fun one to see.
Yeah,
But I
loops are not
gotta give you a little
really-
crap, Con. I gotta give you a little crap. We were talking crap about British and them being dense and all that fun stuff. Shunting is a British term. We say we say switching over here in the States.
You say switching?
Switching,
Oh, man.
yeah.
I don't know
So-
what they say in Canadian railroads.
I don't know either. But
Probably
the
something like, navigating the goose to the other side of the beaver pond,
well,
or,
you know, Canadian Pacific and Canadian National, the two big Canadian railroads, actually run into the United States. So I wouldn't be surprised if the terminology is pretty similar. But yeah, switching, because shunting in the United States is actually the term for connecting a signal circuit with a wheel set on like a train signal system. So when the wheel set enters a new block, they say that it shunts the block or the track circuit. And then that makes the signals do things. So yeah, shunting is for British and for signals, and we do switching. But anyways, I digress.
I would like to point out that cordwood cars are really heavy. We have 6 of them. High spot them.
Montezuma's making it up the 0.5%. She's doing
We're
okay.
doing it. We're going good up. Well, this gets to 1% in some spots, but yeah, thank God the smelter line is 2% downhill, not uphill.
Montezuma would not be doing 6 down, uphill.
No, but I don't know if we're gonna get up with the empties afterwards. I mean, we should be able to. Worst case, we bring the porter. And
We're gonna strand all
Really-
our choo-choos down at the
strand
the
them all down
bottom.
at the smelter.
Yeah.
Or eventually we'll get them back up, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
we'll
God! Can you
just have to
imagine if
break
we
the train
stranded
into
them all down?
sections.
We'd have to build like a 0.5% line to get them out.
Well, we just have to double the hill probably. That's actually a common practice even today in many railroads.
Oh right,
is
just
doubling
take half
the hill.
loads.
Yeah, do it
and then
half. And
convert. Yeah,
do it again.
yeah, true. Yeah, on this playthrough of Railroads Online, Heist and Con do things the proper way, not the fastest way. Actually, with this too, this log camp setup probably wouldn't have a big loop either, although it is pretty.
It is pretty and it's fun and we enjoy it, but yeah, it would not have this either. But the smelter is going to be neat, and I'm excited to see kind of how the rest of our industry setup plays out, because so far it's been unique and different than anything I've done so far in any of my playthroughs. And goodness, this is probably my 5th time playing through the game. So
I feel like the iron mine, coal mine situation might be interesting.
yeah, that'll get interesting. I'm
how we
excited to see what we
tackle
come up
those
with that.
once
Yeah.
we get there. I
Steep
feel like
grades.
coal mine mountain pass seems appropriate, like steep mountain pass for the coal mine. That seems kind of fun.
Just slog it out. Yeah, I like
Slog
the
it
sound
out.
of that. With 5 engines pulling 2 cars, 10% grade.
Yeah,
Let's
like do some crazy stuff, and then all you have to do is get to the top of the hill and let the cars go, right? So
Pretty much.
could be interesting. This loop is just so pleasant.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
I would never have dreamed of doing this loop though if the automatic switching wasn't a thing.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Because having to get off and flick that switch
Adding
way
more
in the back there,
switches, it was a
Yeah,
problem. But now that you
it's
can run
such a
through
pain.
them, yeah, that's definitely.
now
an
you can
important
just
thing.
sit here and be like, oh, nice, and then it doesn't matter. You just every time it just alternates which side you come in on. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So going back to the earlier conversation of roles of the train crew, if you were up here in the engine with me as the fireman, your role and responsibility is pretty much 4 things. You're in charge of the left side of the train. So if we're going around a left-hand turn like we are right now, it's your charge to make sure we're safe. So if there's something on the tracks on the left side,
if
or
we're
if
not
it's,
safe, what do I say?
you just stop, swear words, stuff like that. Or you'd let me know, like, hey, there's a guy on the track, blow the
coming
whistle.
up. You got 2 cars, 1 car.
Ah!
I don't know if Zuma's got the brakes for this.
It's all right. We run in reverse. It's fine. But you're in charge of the left side of the train. You're in charge of how much fire is in the locomotive, and conversely with that, how much pressure the locomotive has, which is really important for working. But most important of all, you're in charge of how much water is in the boiler.
Heist. I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
see the cylinder cocks blow out, so
That is me, bad engineer. We would have blown the heads off. So we were sitting for a long time. Bad kid. Yes.
wait, do you have to blow it out when you stop or what before you get going?
Before you get going, yeah. So when we left the freight
okay.
depot, I should have had the cylinder cocks open, but they don't do anything in game. So
and right now, like in the idle condition, like the pressure relief valve on a steam loco would just be like bleeding pressure, and that's it, and that would be the whole.
No, so ideally the safety valve, the pressure relief, which you see because we're at full pressure. Ideally, you would not be there because the safety valve, the way that they really work, they open a 2.5 to 3 inch hole in the boiler, and they are extremely loud, and they reduce by about 5 psi, and then they seat again, and then they wait till you get to the max pressure again. So ideally, as a fireman, you would have known, okay, we're coming up to a stop. I'm going to let the fire burn down because we're going to be sitting stationary for a bit. And we're running at 130 psi. Well, you'd try and hold the engine somewhere at like 120 or 125 so that we have plenty when we're getting ready to go, but you don't have to sit there and listen to the safety valve, which is the most annoying thing in the world.
But how do you hold the engine at pressure? If you release pressure, doesn't it just go through the cylinders and then move the engine forward? So how would you do that without moving the engine?
So the safety valve, that's what's going on right now. The plume of steam of the dome is simulating the safety valve. So once you get up to MAWP, or maximum allowable working pressure, 130 on this engine, the safety valve opens and releases any overpressure steam, and it's really annoying. But the other way to do it is to put cold water in the boiler using the injector. When you open the injector, it puts water in the boiler from the tender, which you talked about a little bit last time about how it doesn't really make sense how the injector works in game and it's not properly simulated, but normally the fireman would have control over that and he would be able to put water in. And the injector puts a lot of cold water in the boiler, and cold water makes the temperature come down. And as we've talked about with thermodynamics previously on the channel, if you have steam and water as a mixture under pressure in a pressure vessel like a steam locomotive, you decrease the temperature, you decrease the pressure. So the cold water helps cool the boiler off and keep things from popping, keeping the safety from popping.
So just so for clarification, I think I understand this, but the cold water comes from the tender, which is hooked up from a hose into the steam locomotive.
Into
the suction
injector,
power,
yes.
The suction power from that comes from the pressure in the boiler itself.
Yes, more or less. There's a big black magic asterisk of fun converging, diverging nozzles to get into, but you know that needs a whole video that I still have to film for my channel.
Right. Okay. So basically, you create vacuum pressure, which sucks the water in, but they can also control the amount of water coming from the tender into the boiler.
Correct. Yeah. So you have a device called an injector. And typically, the injector on most engines, or of this size at least, is called a live steam injector, where you take steam from the boiler to operate it. And you have controls for the water supply and the steam supply. And by reducing the water supply, you can reduce the amount of water that gets put in. But ultimately, you open up the steam, and that steam creates a vacuum, drawing the water up into the injector. Using a series of nozzles, some fun fluid mechanics things happen that need probably a good hour to truly explain. And then the water is sent down the delivery pipe into the boiler with significant velocity to actually pop open the check valve that, prevents the boiler's water from leaking back out. And so you can then, you don't have to run the injector. You can not run it for a minute and let the water level decrease in the boiler. But when it's time to put some in, you open up the steam, it sends water into the boiler, and then you can meter it back if you need.
The injectors would have to be above like 130 psi then.
No, the injector runs off of the boiler pressure, and this is the eternal question.
Off the boiler pressure. Okay.
This is the eternal question that always confuses people about injectors and is kind of hard to explain without a fluid mechanics background. And it's been on my list to do on the channel, but I honestly need to brush up on my fluids because it is a very ingenious and nuanced design using a couple different nozzles where you choke the flow, and using the nozzles and the properties of the nozzles and fluids flowing through, and a mixture of the steam from the boiler being compressible versus the water from the tender not being compressible, you're actually able to raise the pressure of the water being delivered to greater than the boiler's pressure using nozzle geometry, which is really, really freaking cool and an ingenious device. But if you look at it as a layperson and you go, wait, you have boiler pressure putting water in, to the boiler that's at boiler pressure. How does that work? It shouldn't work, right? That doesn't make any sense. But thanks to some wonderful fluid mechanics, it does work, and it works quite well.
Kind of like a rocket engine.
Yeah, precisely. Kind of like a rocket engine. There's two nozzles, and I want to say it's a converging, diverging nozzle followed by just a diverging nozzle, and that makes the water and steam condense to water entirely. And then because of the diverging nozzle on the back half, it increases the pressure significantly while reducing the velocity.
Well, I am going to have to look this up after the fact, because
it's so nerdy cool.
Very hard to visualize.
Yes.
But it sounds amazing.
So injectors are wonderful things, but ultimately as a fireman, like, that is your most important critical thing is keeping that water level correct, because too much water breaks the engine, too little water causes the engine to explode, which we don't like. So we're all loaded up.
For them, that's just like the injector. Is it just opening and closing a valve? Is that really like their entire, like, just some dial or something that opens and closes? Or is there more
it's
to it
more
than that?
complicated than that, because injectors, depending on the style, can be a bit of a pain. You have to prime the injector and get the flow established out of an overflow so you can watch the water run, and then you force the water into the delivery pipe using kind of a levered handle that has a couple positions, and then there's a valve for the water as well. And there's a little bit more to that that you can see in one of the videos on my channel, Fireman 101, talking about coal shoveling and taking care of the water and all that fun stuff, which is great. But water's absolutely the most critical thing for the fireman, because you run out of water, the boiler will explode. You have too much water, you will break the engine. So either way is a bad time. But you got to balance the water, the fire, to have the right pressure and make sure the train is operating safely.
So back to the original statement, if you sit your train for too long, let's say you have to sit your train like for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you can't keep adding water infinitely to just bring the boiler pressure down.
Well, you let the fire die back enough so that it's no longer trying to generate so much steam as the first thing.
And then you could just put enough water in to get it to a relatively neutral state.
Yeah, you kind of get it to equilibrium and hope it sits, and then you kind of have to keep the fire going just enough so that when it's time to go again, you don't have to like rebuild the fire. You can just stoke it up and kind of get it running again. But yeah, it's definitely a delicate dance with the solid fuel engines with wood or coal, whereas an oil burner, you can just turn the fire off literally and then relight it. Or bring it down to a spot fire where it's just barely like a pilot light on your water heater or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a dancing game of, okay, we're coming up to the station in a half mile. I'm going to stop putting coal or wood in and let the engine burn down and make sure that the fire is ready for the engine to sit. If you do, sometimes you have to rebuild the fire, start from scratch, or get the blower running wide, rampant, draw in the fire as much as you can before you get ready to go and build a big fire to take off. But you just have to get it ready and keep it at equilibrium. And sometimes the safety pops, or sometimes you fill the darn engine full of water and then you have to blow down and remove water from the boiler, because you have tools for increasing pressure, decreasing pressure, and you have tools for increasing water and decreasing water. The blowdown valve opens up a giant hole in the bottom of the boiler, and that blows water clear out the boiler, and that's a really, really helpful thing. And it's also really good for the boiler because it blows all, scale and sediment and all that junk out of there too, so it helps keep the boiler clean if you blow it down often as well.
But I guess the valve's not big enough to just it doesn't just dump all the contents of the boiler. It just blows out.
No, and you got to remember that water is incompressible, right? But when it's so hot,
it'll flow out.
When it's so freaking hot inside the boiler, when it does get exposed to atmosphere, it immediately flashes to steam and expands a bunch. So it takes a lot to actually flow it through. So you could leave the blowdown open for something like 20 seconds and you'd barely see a movement in the water sight glass of how much water's been lost. Maybe an inch, if that, after 20 seconds. And, sight glasses are pretty tall, so definitely takes a while to make it do something.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
It's always fun when they get.
I will say the Montezuma's got a nice sound to it. The Porter sounds like death.
Yeah, the Montezuma's actually got the chuff sound that I made way back in the day that the Montezuma and the Eureka have, which sounds a little bit nicer, I think.
It's a nice little sound.
That's our station call and we're not stopping signal, so running through. Although we're gonna have to line a switch up here though, so we will be briefly
all the other
pausing.
number one engines are gonna wait.
Yep, the other number 1 engine's got to wait for us. So you're actually doing what the head brakeman would be doing right now, the next role on the train.
What,
Head
jump
brakeman,
off the track and race the train to the switch?
well, I mean, actually, yes, sometimes.
Where's my horse when I need it?
Depending on how it goes. Yeah, sometimes, these days many railroads ban getting on and off moving equipment because it's really easy to get really, really hurt. But some railroads still allow it, and it is definitely a lot more efficient if you can keep the train moving and then get on and off. And everyone should know how to do that safely. If you do work with these, regardless of whether or not it's allowed, you should know how to do it and, not do it if it's against the rules unless you absolutely have to. But yeah, as a head brakeman, you're in charge of any moves that the train's got to do up front or cars that would get cut off. So like if we had an extra special car at the front of the train that we had to set out somewhere, you would help us with that, and you'd give me signals as the engineer. You'd tell me what to do, give me hand signals. Okay, well, I'm gonna go line the switch. You're gonna shove back 3 cars into this siding, and then we're gonna cut this car off. Oh, okay, cool. And you'd give the hand signals and direct that movement as the head brakeman. The rear brakeman would do the same for the back of the train as well, and both of you would be looking at the wheels to make sure none of the wheels are sliding, that we don't have any problems with any of the journal boxes. If we have a hot box, anything like that.
We're gonna go down this hill. All right, 2% grade.
Okay.
We got
gotcha.
300,000 pounds of cordwood.
It's fine. We might want to break at some point. I don't know, or we could just send it.
I think it's like 44,000 pounds per cordwood car, right? So like
that sounds about right.
250,000 pounds of cordwood, something like that.
It's fine. Lots of wood.
Oh, so don't screw it up.
Okay.
I don't know how good your brakes are.
Probably not very, but you built a nice alignment, so we should be able to go fast.
Okay.
Just not like too fast.
If I need to tie brakes, let me know. But I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let
the
you know.
The fact that you're still chugging while we're going downhill has me concerned.
I mean, I can just turn it off and we can just coast if that makes you feel better. I'm not putting brakes on yet.
I don't know if it makes me feel better.
I don't think it makes a bit of difference.
It makes me somehow feel worse that the engine's not running anymore. But when it's running, it just oh no.
It's making higher pitched sounds. It's fine. We're going faster.
Yeah.
Do you not like danger, Con? You gotta live on the edge.
We're not doing bad. This looks okay.
It does look pretty good.
I got a little bit of the jiggles back here, but we're not at the steep curves yet, though. This next curve is like 60, and then we get into the 50. The valley turn off. That's where it's.
That's gonna be the spicy boy. We'll see how that goes, but I like the feeling of a little bit of danger.
Dude, the chuffs are so fast. Look at that smelting area, though. Look at those shunt lines.
Oh yeah, we're coming in to see it for the first time.
And we got the big turntable too to turn the engine around.
I'm so excited to see all that stuff. It's gonna be cool. But the last role in the train that we haven't talked about is the conductor, the one that everyone thinks that everyone is because it's the one name that they know. The conductor is the boss of the train. He's in charge. He's actually it is his train. Yes, I'm the engineer and I'm running the train, but ultimately I bow to the conductor. The conductor is really the boss of the train. He determines what's going to go on. He makes the calls. He calls the shots. That's everything. And he directs the brakeman as need be and makes sure that the train runs on time, particularly for passenger. So conductor's a really important role as well.
Here's the spicy turn, by the way.
It's fun.
This S-back.
I
almost fell off.
Yeah, you fell off on my end, but then you came.
Yeah, I got right back up immediately. That was amazing. I just realized too with the smelter, there's I could do something different, so I'm gonna do that while you just make your way down.
Brakeman just jumped off the bridge.
Yeah, now the brakeman has become line crew again, whatever it's called.
Section. Yeah, your section crew.
Section crew, yeah. I just realized I put these extra shunt lanes here, but I oriented these switches really wrong. I didn't need to do that. I could have done them
fine.
Very differently, and it would have made more sense.
So I'm running over the yard lead right here on the bridge that runs off into the woods, and then the throat of the yard's that way, and we got yards on both sides, and Con's got a switch in the air. It's a little interesting. It's fine.
Interesting.
This is definitely a bridged alignment. We had lots of money for bridges from polishing all those turds. So. Oh,
dude, we the bridge budget on our company was
the
insane.
BB. It's pretty serious, yeah.
Yeah, we take our BB very seriously here at
at the Central Rio and Pacific.
Railroads.
The crap, yeah.
Yeah, the Central Rio Pacific, absolutely. People don't understand how important it is to have a good BB. Like it's
Gotta have that BB if you're gonna build spicy alignments, man.
Wait,
I do love those bumpers that almost touch over there. You almost
yeah,
have like a 90.
Flying down. Holy cow.
Coming in fast. I've heard the Mosca runs faster. I'm excited for it. We said that last time, but I'm still excited for it.
We need money. We need money.
We do
All
need
right,
money.
I'm gonna jump on board. These switches are. I'll fix them in a sec when we're unloading because I really don't need.
All right. Yeah, we gotta pull all the way up to the yard lead.
Yeah, gotta come all the way up here. There's a little bypass line. I don't know if this line is really necessary. I mean, kind of. Yes.
We
no.
might use it. That's fine. You can load while trains coming in. And divert back.
Yeah, I want to
over.
rebuild those shunt lanes. I had them smaller, and I don't know why I did.
All right, so here's the throat of the yard right here.
All right, I'll let you know when you're clear, and I'll flick the switch back.
Yep, sounds good.
So what do you want to do with the caboose? Just
stuff it on one of the 3 tracks, and then we'll.
Oh no,
we'll
you
put
can
the
just
cars...
keep it on the back and keep pushing, and yeah.
It'll just if we keep pushing though, it'll occupy too much space at the other end. So let's stuff it on one of the tracks, and then we'll pick it up on the way out.
All right, you're good to come back. I'll put you in the.
Doesn't matter which one.
Lane,
we could actually kick the caboose if you want to just uncouple it, and then we can kick it and then put the cars on a different track. That way we can get to the cars.
Okay. I'll kick the caboose.
So let me know it's uncoupled, and I'll stop, and then let you line the switch the other way.
All right, it's uncoupled.
Okay, I'm stopping. This is not something you tend to do on the railroad too often anymore, but this was very much done in this era. Kicking cars was the way to go. It's way faster.
All right, come on, caboose. Throw it on that line. You're going to go onto the middle with your cordwood, and then you can pull the engine around the far right.
All right, I'm going to unpin the cordwood cars as well so we can kick those. And
yeah, we're doing some real shunting operations
We're high speed switching today.
Yeah.
Those are lined in different now. There we are. Beautiful.
Perfect.
I'm gonna kick these with a good amount of speed.
I'm gonna put the brake on the caboose here in a sec once it's clear.
All right, they're kicked.
Done. Oh no! How'd you end up on the same line here? Stop.
Oh, I can't stop it. I kicked them.
Oh well, they're just. Oh, it's because the caboose wasn't clear of the switch. That same switch thing that happened.
Yeah,
it has to.
Q-isms happened because the. Points,
yeah, it has to be clear of the switch, or else it auto switches it back.
Well, we tried to be faster, and now we're slower. It's fine.
Don't worry. The intentions were good. We have to fix this. You know what? I'm just gonna hook this back up, and hopefully you'll have space.
We can. Yeah, hopefully we'll have space. We'll just run around it, and if not, we can kick the caboose off the front end. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be fine.
Is there brakes on this stuff now?
Nope.
I'd put a brake on because I'm not hooked up still.
Oh well, it's just it'll just roll. It'll hit a stopper eventually. It'll be fine.
Well, then I can't run around it. Oh! I almost made a big mistake. It's fine.
It actually stopped itself.
I put a brake on it.
Oh, okay.
I put a brake on it, and I left the Montezuma with a 100 rag and reverser, and it almost ran away from me. It was this close. It's fine. We're high speed switching today, boys. And by high speed, I mean heist speed. We are heist speed switching today.
We're having a good one. Yeah, we get it. Calm down.
Well, my brakeman's run off somewhere over in the distance over there. I guess you're fixing switches.
Your brakeman is trying to, oh god, destroy the universe of rails, apparently.
That's fine.
Just trying to fix these rails. Okay, do you need my help, sir? Where are you going?
That's fine. I put it in forwards so I can throw the switch.
Oh, you're going way back to that end to grab. I see. Okay,
Yep,
well, this should be good. Do you have a hook on the front? What's your pull bar at?
I do have my pull bar up. I am in jousting mode. I am ready to nail these cars.
I will hit you up. Yeah, so basically, we park this here. You come around the Y, this massive extra shunt yard. And then we hit you up, and now you're good. And now I have to split you.
Yeah, I need just 3 of these, hopefully. Hopefully we'll all fit even with the caboose.
You're good. Go.
Yeah, I've got it wide open. It's Montezuma, my man.
So it's got. Oh, you got brakes tied, and the brakes. Caboose has brakes tied. Okay.
Oh, okay, that would probably be part of it too.
And then
the first car on the farthest car has brakes.
Has a brake.
On the other car.
Is this the caboose brake then?
Yeah.
All right, so then I'll flick these switches for you. You can unload.
Yeah, hopefully we fit, gosh, it's going to be close. With 3 cars and the caboose and me. We might only fit me and the 3
we'll find
cars.
out.
I guess we're going to find out, because our loop
Find
is
out how
in
long
the
this,
way.
if this works, man. This is kind of cool.
Oh, no, I think we're going to fit.
I think
No,
you'll
it's
fit.
God, it's going to be close.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got. Oh, you got tons of space. You got tons of space. Bigger engine, maybe not, but this. Look at this. Tons
Look
of
at
space.
that. Dunk.
Oh, that was a little. That was a little.
It's
rough.
fine. It's a little
I
violent.
feel like that would have gone through that wood 2x4.
Probably,
Oh,
but
no.
it didn't. So, you know, we'll not pee in cups today. So.
Oh my goodness, that was a bit spicy for sure.
Yeah, picante. Me gusta.
All right, I'm not in your company, so you might have to just unload this,
Okay, that's fine.
unless it's come time for me to start actually making money.
I mean, if you
but-
want to make money, you can make money. That's fine. I've
I
only got
can make some money.
250
I'll make
bucks.
some
So I
money.
feel
All right, you're good.
You
You're
can be
good.
the money
We'll
guy
unload
now.
here. Let me make some money. Get some experience. You know, that's the good thing.
That's that
It's-
good stuff. Look at that, starting the cordwood pile.
That's awesome.
The-
We need
the-
a lot of it.
The never-ending cordwood pile of the smelter. Yes.
Yeah, we need so much cordwood, it's ridiculous. But it's okay. We have shunting lines here, so we could actually just have extra cordwood cars just
Gotta
sitting
run
here.
trains always. Yeah, we need
Yeah.
more. Need a bunch of cars. That's the thing. Having 2
Yeah, well,
engines,
that's-
and we've got
yeah.
like something like 20 maybe cars now, maybe probably 25-ish cars. I was reading, and the Colorado Midland Railroad, when they started, oops, can you throw my switch?
Yeah, I threw a switch. Oh no,
Yeah,
I didn't
you gotta
throw that
throw
switch.
the switch that
oh,
I gotta,
yeah, there's
like,
a lot of switches. That's right.
Yeah,
you got
that's how this works.
a lot of switches.
You're in
Oh,
charge of the
goodness.
switches as the brake man.
We're doing like real shunting operations, and there are too many switches. We need like an electronic control system, so I can just sit and
right.
like
Press
you
buttons.
know?
Line the switch here. Please, centralized traffic control. Yeah, when I was reading when the Colorado Midland started their railroad, they bought 25 engines and 1,000 cars when they started.
1,000 cars.
1,000 cars for
That's a
25
lot.
engines. Yeah. So there's your ratio of how many cars sit at industries and whatever. Yeah,
Well,
1,000.
we have 8, 16. We have 22 cars.
Okay. Yeah, 22
We have
plus,
2 sets of
plus
8
our
and a
caboose.
6. Plus
so-
a caboose. Yeah, so we're like loaded. Like
Yeah,
we don't
man.
even. We need. It always seems so far away to get like a 100-car train. I really want to do a 100-car train in this area though, but like shunting 100 cars in this might be tough. It'll
Pretty
be fun.
hard because there's not a whole lot of space.
Well, that's what this side's for.
Okay, so we unpin that. So we're gonna tie a handbrake because we're good kids.
Yeah, you gotta swap out. Get the other one.
Yep. I'm gonna kick
Then
the
we gotta
caboose
connect
on
it
the
all
other
back
track
up.
here.
How are we gonna connect it all back up? Oh, you're gonna keep the caboose.
I'm gonna kick the caboose so that it goes
Gotcha.
down the other line here, and then I'll put the other empties once they're empty on top of the ones I just had, and then I will run through the other track. So that'll be the thing.
Then
to
you
do.
gotta turn around.
And then I gotta go. Yeah. Then I gotta run to the turntable and turn around. Is it possible to unpin? There we go. Okay. And then
I'm just
we'll
gonna fix these shunt lanes. I built
do a
these shunt
quick
lanes like
kick.
curved into the track, and then I realized I didn't need to, and it just made them shorter for no reason. So these are just extra shunt storage for whatever reasons. I don't know.
It's fine. You can probably use them for something.
You
at
always
some
need
point.
more storage.
That is really the stupid switches.
Oh, yeah.
The same thing happened again. The car wasn't far enough away. Well, now I'll just nail it at high speed.
Yeah, the
and
auto
some
switch
fun.
thing, you just have to. Oh, are you just gonna? Well, you might as well just keep it on that. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And dunk. It's fine. That was less than 4 miles an hour, right? Anyone? Probably. Pin. Hey, there we go. It's hard. The hitbox on the way car with the
Yeah, it's weird.
the drawbar is pretty atrocious.
All right, there we go, Heist. I fixed it.
I'm glad.
I added
Put the bar
4 proper
forwards,
shunt
jump
lanes this
off.
time. I will now do all your switching needs for you because I know you're really struggling. So I'll
I'm
just-
on the struggle bus presently, sir. Yes.
Okay, you gonna kick it? Are you
I'm
kick it?
gonna kick it. We're kicking it.
Where do you want to
Kicking?
kick it?
I want to do some kicking. It's getting
Far-
kicked into the right track. All right, I'm hauling the bar over in reverse again. Just put a brake on it.
Yeah, I got you.
and then we'll line up for this other track here. But I'm just running with the bar. Although if with the throttle wide open, if you tried to run with the bar, you'd unclamp it, and then she would throw you through the front cab door. So that would be a bad time.
Wait, you mean like just running with the throttle bar?
Yeah. If you leave the throttle open, I have the throttle wide open, and I've just been moving the Johnson bar back and forth.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The reverser, as they call it in game. The correct American term is Johnson bar. But yeah, if you with a slide valve engine like this, with rather than piston valves, the pressure is so uneven that with the throttle open that much, usually the Johnson bar will try and take you for a ride if you don't have both hands on it very firmly. So yeah, trying to throw it like that, I mean, it would try and take you through the front cab window, which is not fun. Dunk.
Got you.
Come on,
I'll
sweetheart.
untie the brakes.
The one hand brake.
Dude, I can't believe that's enough to stop like all your movement.
Just like, oh, heavy. Oh, I'm small and sad. It's the Zuma. It's not the I am powerful.
We honestly need to just keep Betsy down here in like a little engine shed, maybe by the round table,
right?
And
that would
use
be the
Betsy
way to
for
do
just
it.
shunting cordwood when. Like,
I want to get a class
drop
48
off a
down
cordwood
here.
train and leave.
I want a class 48. Get some more power. Something with a little bit more huevos. That'd be nice.
And it's an 060. Is it tenderless or does it have a tender?
It is. It's a tank engine. So it's just picture a big Betsy.
Right.
Big
So
Betsy
that would
made
actually be
by Baldwin.
perfect. So that you could like, because right now you're wasting a lot of space in that siding with your tender.
Dunk. I had the brake on full, the throttle and reverser all the way forward.
Good thing we've got the stoppers now.
Turns out the buffers are great because I can just send it and nail stuff at high speed. So
yeah, that's kind of funny.
What kind of switching do you do? Spicy.
This is why we ended up doing this kind of a setup on the smelter though, because these corners are like already 50 degrees or 50 meters and they don't obviously meet with each other. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty tight down here. If you're like trying to have a realistic sized curve, it is pretty darn tight. So
I like this though. This is fun. We're doing actual shunting. I just want to rush to get iron so we can try assembling iron trains in this setup,
right.
And see what problems we run into.
Well, Lord knows that at least half of the commenters thought we should have gone to the iron mine first. So geographically, we had to go to the smelter first for the setup that we wanted to do. So it's like, okay, we could do this. We could start running cordwood, making more money. Rather than doing beams, which are beams and lumber, which is heavier. Well, I think lumber's heavier. I can't remember. Pretty heavy, but not as dense per car of a profit as cordwood. So, stash up a little cash, buy a new choo-choo, run to the iron mine next time. But we're gonna have to build the alignment there, which is gonna be. I'm so excited for that. I love the plan of valley floor right up until you aren't. So.
Yeah, and then just death.
And then just death. We're going to Ewan a railway the heck out of this.
So this.
Yep, we're going to put these on top of that, and then we can.
But the caboose has to be on the.
Yep, I mean
front.
we could either put the caboose on the back.
Oh, I see. Okay, no, I understand.
Engine,
I understand. We're good.
Or we can grab the train from the front, and then there's lots of options.
Yeah. No, we do this like this. You come back here.
Oh, no, hang on. I know what we need to do. I said it wrong because I forgot we have to aim the other direction to go home.
Now you go forward. Yeah, and we gotta put the caboose on the front of this.
Yeah, so I gotta
which
back
will become
these
your back.
boys up, and then
you
we'll
gotta
stab
go
them on
flip
top
around
of the caboose,
in the
and
thing.
Then, yep, and then we'll go spin, and then that'll be that.
This all makes a lot of sense.
Right. We were joking the whole time we were setting this up. It's like the logistics of real rail yards is kind of incredible. The amount of stuff and little things you got to think about that go into it. There's a lot that goes into it. So.
Do you have space to do this setup? You do.
I think so.
Oh, you have lots of space. You could still be like 3-4 cars longer if we wanted to.
Awesome.
We could realistically do a train of 9 cordwood cars then.
Awesome. I think we should do it.
And then just break it up into sets of 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. And unloads in
and
threes.
You should still have room, I think, to set all that up. Shovel the empties into one.
We could even make it make the tracks a little bit longer if we really needed to. We could probably squeeze a smidge more in, but I think we probably have enough room to do 9 if we park it on the right track.
Yeah.
I also really like and appreciate that we did a parallel ladder setup on this so that each lane is actually the same length.
Oh, can you move a little bit?
Yep.
There was two. They both have
Oh,
pins.
okay.
Links.
You need some space.
Yeah, they both have links.
There you go.
Okay, now you're good.
All right, coming ahead again. Wait, let's try and shove this as far up. I mean, we don't want to be in the foul if we want to be good kids, so we're gonna push everything in the clear here, and then we'll unpin and run around. Yeah, we've got plenty of space. Oh yeah, you could totally do 9
Yeah, you could
cars in here.
fit the whole, like, all 6 in one of these lanes, and then have, like, you could break them
For
up into 3
sure.
and 6, and then put the empties together, you know, and then
Absolutely. Yeah. This is
yeah. Oh,
awesome.
you still have tons of space too. But anyway, you're good.
All right, I am unhooked, and I'm
All right,
gonna
I'll come
back up
set
and
some
run
switches.
around.
The interesting thing too is dropping off iron ore. You got to come through, but dropping off iron ore I think is a little easier because you're going to be coming down from that side anyway. You could come in straight, just unload, and then push back and leave. It's just going to be loading iron products and delivering cordwood. But delivering cordwood's always a pain in the butt here, unless you build like a bridge. But
Yeah, unless you do it kind of cheesy, and I don't like the cheesy. I like, people are like, why didn't they put them parallel? Why can't you just run the train straight through? And it's like, well, real industry setups would have all these nuances and boundary conditions to deal with. Yeah, it's a little bare bones without structures and other things to enforce it that way, but this is what the railroad really would have had to have done to make all this make sense. So I like actually having to switch out cars, and it breaks up the monotony of just getting to look at the scenery. So
and just having to load.
and yeah, and crane loading,
Crane loading
clicking
simulator. At least
yeah.
now it's crane loading plus shunt moving or
Yep.
switching.
Yep.
I
Adds a
like
little bit
this
more fun.
this large turntable. It's cool.
The gallows turntable is what it's called. Yeah,
Looks like a suspension bridge.
it is. It is pretty cool. It's a Rio Grande prototype, I think. It's pretty cool. And
it's
it'll
big enough
actually,
to
you can
turn
actually fit
any
the
engine.
Class 70 on it. Yeah, not any engine, but any engine that's in the game at least. So, all right, shove, con. Yes, move
This is
me.
this is as fast as we move.
This is actually going very fast on a turntable. Our turntable at the museum is an Armstrong turntable like this, where you just push on a pole, and this would be going very fast.
Wait, you push on a pole. How heavy is that when you actually like? There's got to be like gearing or something.
Nope.
Like, is there anything to help you or?
So it balances on the central pivot. There's tapered roller bearings in the middle, and you just have to balance the engine perfectly on it. So I'm not actually balanced probably with the way I'm parked, because I'm parked more to one side. So technically you probably wouldn't really actually be able to move me. It's not simulated in game. But tapered roller bearings in the middle, and ideally, there's usually a ring rail around that you probably can't see because of the groundwork and all that. But the wheels can't ride on the ring rail. If the wheels are riding on it, you're never going to move it. You have to be perfectly balanced, because our turntable, the bridge itself, weighs 55 tons. Come on, Con, line it up.
I
It drifted.
I overshot it a
it's
little
fine.
bit.
Come on. Okay, there we go.
All right, there you go.
I didn't wait for you to tell me to go, so I'm a bad kid. But, anyways, I'm going to
Yeah, pee
complain
in a
about
cup.
you anyway.
Pee in a cup. Pee in a cup.
Pee in the cup! Yep. Anyway, our bridge weighs 55 tons. You put our big engine, 491, on it. She weighs 150 tons, plus, fully loaded, technically it's 307,250 pounds. So you're talking about moving like over 200 tons of steel, and I could do it by myself. One guy. You unlock the table and turn it
that's
around.
the balance though. That's
Balance
How do
is
you know if it's
critical.
balanced? Do you have to like have a guy spot the engine or something?
You do.
Or is there, like,
You
a
watch
level
it. You watch
indicator?
it tip. There's no level indicator, but you can watch the table tip to the other side. It's almost like a seesaw, but it only moves, about an inch or two.
Wow.
But you watch it move just enough. Once it's balanced, you can do it. And you believe me, if it's not balanced by an inch, you can tell. It's pretty
All right, so
decently important.
now you can just go back,
And we just back out.
and you just back out completely until we're on the main line. Then we go back
Dunk.
up. Good to go. I'll make sure. Oh God,
Make
I'll
sure the
check all
brakes
the
are off,
brakes.
because this feels a little heavy.
Yeah, I feel like we should. How expensive are the cordwood cars?
They're only $275 a piece, so we can definitely get some more. You probably just made enough money to buy 3 more of them.
Yeah, I have $680. I can buy at least
Okay,
2 more.
two more.
We're still pretty broke.
Yeah, it's a tough life, but we're
But I mean, we gotta deliver iron.
we're
to
gonna
the
build
iron
to the
mine
iron
too.
mine, and that's gonna suck because the route that we are planning is gonna need It's gonna need lots of engines probably to really make a lot of loads go.
Or just a small amount of cars.
We'll just run a lot of train. We'll run a lot of train to it and then take it up in sections. So
yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, we only have 8. We only have 8 lumber cars anyway, so it's not like we're really.
That's true. Well, I will bet if we end up with like a really steep grade, like a 7% or something, I'm betting that Montezuma is going to be good for 1 lumber car, and that's it. So it's going to be a little interesting.
I'm thinking Montezuma and Betsy will do 1 lumber car.
It's fine. We'll just recreate all the pictures of all the itty bitty little sad choo-choos trying to haul nothing.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was on the narrow gauge in those years, man. That's really what had to happen. And that's what's so much fun about this. It's really recreating something that, I mean, people haven't seen or been able to understand or appreciate for, 100+ years. This era of railroading is so far removed, even from the stuff that I do, with engines that ran in that era. Now that they've been modernized and changed, I mean, it's so different. If you were to see our modernized Class 70 346, the C19 in person, you wouldn't think it looks like the Class 70 at all from the game. It looks totally different.
Not to toot our own horns here or anything, but I really like this.
Dude, I really like this setup. And it's you tooting your own horn, and that's fine, and I'm tooting my own whistle.
It's more time consuming to load and unload and stuff, but it really, I feel like, especially once we get more cars and we can actually have cars that are like loaded at the smelter, like waiting with cordwood, whatever, or like have iron cars ready to go, stuff like that. It's going to feel just really cool.
It's going to make a really neat ops session because you're going to have like an industry job. Whereas before, I mean, people were just like running trains here and there and that's that. But this setup is going to allow for people to actually switch out the industry and make it run like the real thing, because the railroad would just hand the cut of cars off and the industry would then do what they had to do. And this is actually a really cool setup, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It looks wicked from up top this bridge.
It really does. It really does.
We're going to need to do some work with the way it feeds out to the iron and coal mines, because I want to continue that straight line that we wrote out onto so we'll have to maybe do a bypass there, because if a train's backing in, you don't want a train coming through to be stuck as well.
Exactly, yeah. You need a dedicated drill track for whatever switching out the yard. Make sure he's not fouling the main line, and that'll keep yard operations moving nice and smooth.
Yeah, exactly. So we need some stuff there, but other than that, I think it should work pretty well.
Definitely.
It's such a crazy area.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's the lowest industry on the map. It's in the pit by itself, and the pit's such a weird shape, and it's in just such a weird spot itself sitting there, and yeah, you really have to... It really makes you think, and it's definitely a challenging industry to set up, and I think you did a really good job.
To be fair, we're using... but the old tools, it was a lot easier to ignore the fact that you had really tight corners. But with the new tools, whenever you're using circle mode and drawing corners, it kind of screams at you like, bro, this corner's too tight. And then you're like, oh no.
And
even trying to make this bridge.
The extra funny thing was with the old tools, they gave you degree of curvature, but they gave you the wrong degree of curvature. It was double. So, okay, laid a 30-degree curve. That doesn't sound too bad. And it was actually a 60-degree, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, no wonder I keep falling off the train. I'm standing on the edge. But yeah, no wonder some of those 30-degree corners, we're making corners here that are 35 degrees. It's this is way shallower than the 30-degree corners we used to make. I don't...
It's because the math works out now that it's doing radius and everything, and we're calculating the degree of curvature ourselves using that handy little spreadsheet I showed off in the first video. But I mean, degree of curvature is what locomotives are used to and what the railroad used, so it's that's the easiest frame of reference for what we have.
I love how, despite the smelter having all these big bridges, they all disappear.
Right? They're all hidden with the trees and everything.
When none of them are visible and ugly through the trees or anything. It all looks hidden.
It's really cool.
And if we have a line that goes to the iron mine really down low, that's also going to stay hidden. It'll be really cool.
That's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to run the, get some more trains rolling and see what happens next.
Yeah, we need money. We need so much money.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do an ops session at some point or something just to get the cash flow going.
I like money, but yeah, we need to run some money. Actually, it's good though. We got a lot of. So if we can get a third engine, we could run 3 different trains.
Yeah, and that's the next goal, I think, as far as a piece of equipment is another engine.
Another engine, yeah. We should save up and get another engine. So I can keep selling stuff, and we can save it for the next cheapest engine or whatever. That isn't the Porter, because obviously there's the Porter 2.
Yeah, I think Eureka is still the next cheapest, so we could definitely get the Eureka, which, will get you into air brakes and get you into another engine at least. It's still not terribly strong, but it beats out Montezuma.
Yeah, and then we could invite someone else, and we could all join someone's company and run cordwood and then beams and wood all simultaneously. I know it's not the most glorious of tasks, but
hey, you gotta make money. You gotta have money to play. So once we get an engine with
we
more
don't even have to run the
effort,
cordwood down to the smelter because that's time consuming to do all the unload stuff, like the hitching and stuff. We could actually just have everyone running stuff to the freight depot just to sell it,
Yeah, just to try and make as much cash as possible.
Maximize profits.
Speaking of,
we're not
are we
making
going
any
to
more
the?
from
Where are we
bringing this to the
going? Because
smelter.
we're aligned to the.
Oh, that's fine. We'll do the loop. We'll do the loop.
We'll do the loop.
Do the old Boston loop. I don't know what it is. Chicago loop.
Something
Actually,
like that.
I have a cool story. So there's in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, there's a train station, which is like right in downtown Ottawa next to the Parliament. And it's not a train station anymore, but it used to be. And there's these old tunnels underneath the street, and they are like maximum a 20-meter radius curve. Like these things are super tight.
God.
But if you go into these tunnels, there's no rail anymore, but you can still see like the soot lining all along the roof around this tunnel. And they basically had these huge tunnels underneath the streets, and they would turn trains around in this tunnel. They would unhook the cars, take the locomotive, drive it around this tunnel, come back in, and hook it up on the other end.
That's awesome.
It was ridiculous.
It is always neat to see the soot lines and whatever. When I was at BNSF, I worked at a real roundhouse. It's one of the last roundhouses that worked on a Class 1 railroad, at least in a major capacity with the shop. Unfortunately, they've scaled it back significantly since I worked there. But it was a Great Northern roundhouse.
Down a little bit. Just give me a little bit of break.
I mean,
I can't get back on.
You could also just wait there because I'm going to be there.
No, I don't want to wait. I want to ride the train. I want to ride the choo-choo.
I'm putting on the brakes. I'm braking.
Okay.
We need to have con on the train.
We're good. Okay. Continue.
Here we go. It was a Great Northern roundhouse built in 1929, and you could see that they had taken like a scissor lift through and painted the ceiling white to brighten up the shop because any steam shop, the ceilings
How long
are
did that
disgusting.
stay?
Right, it stuck around, for the diesel era because they don't run engines in the shop anymore. Keep things clean. But there were offices and like the material storage area and stuff where they couldn't get the scissor lift, and the ceiling is pitch black from all the coal smoke from the steam engines still. And that was always the coolest thing to me. I mean, it's like looking into a black hole. Like you can't perceive the height of the ceiling because it's just so perfectly black.
Right.
Another roundhouse I've worked in, like is the Durango and Silverton's roundhouse. I spent a little time in there working on the 493 when the museum thought they were going to get it. And you look up at the ceiling and it's just pitch black. You can't. There's a couple shop headlights overhead aimed down, and they light up the shop work surface on the floor. But you look up and you don't know where the ceiling is. Like you cannot physically tell because of how dirty it is.
There were three crossings back there. I didn't hear a single whistle.
Those are not grade crossings. Those are just track crossings. We could institute
Wait, so
a
you don't have to
rule.
whistle? We're good. Go straight. I said it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we could institute a rule in our rule book or a timetable saying that we need to blow a warning whistle at those, but we don't have to blow a whistle for those crossings. No, it's not warning the public. Yeah. Some railroads,
warning other
had
trains
a warning.
is irrelevant.
Some railroads had a warning whistle for those, but not every railroad does.
Interesting.
It's one of those weird.
So really,
things.
the whistle is for public people to get out of the way of your train.
Yes, but sometimes it is for communicating to railroaders as well, but specifically for a diamond crossover like that, there's not necessarily a rule that says you need to blow a whistle for that. But in many cases, there is. So it just kind of depends on the railroad and what the railroad does. If you want to learn a little bit more about whistle signals and whistles in general, I've got a great video on my channel, not to toot my own horn. But I have a video called Whistles 101 where I actually go through all of the Denver and Rio Grande's whistle signals, and then also how whistles work and kind of the acoustic science and musicality behind whistles, which is one of my favorite videos. It came out a couple months ago on the channel, and if that interests you, come take a peek, because it's pretty neat. And all the whistle signals are in there. So everything that you would need to use on a narrow gauge railroad like one in Railroads Online is included in there, and it's definitely some helpful stuff for people in operating sessions in there if you care about that sort of thing.
I feel like we need a passing lane here.
Yeah, we're gonna need a passing track somewhere in there. Yeah, for sure. Freight depot is gonna be pretty congested, particularly if we're gonna run 3 trains to deliver stuff at the freight depot.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of space.
But speaking of whistle signals, one is the long when you're approaching a station. So.
Speaking of,
and now you tell me whether we're stopping or going, and we're stopping because it's the end of the track. But
I think we should probably stop since that both tracks are blocked ahead. I put an extra little sliding down the right side here, so I split it off into 2 so we can store stuff there.
We could always just nail Betsy at track speed. Oh, we're lined into the spawn yard. That's less fun.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, no, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine. We'll just pull.
But yeah,
right
perfect. There. Now we got some more things to do. We got to build obviously a shunt yard here at the freight depot. We should probably do that sometime soon because
we've got a pile of cars and no place to put them.
We don't currently have a way through.
It's fine.
Because I took out that one shunt yard. So we should do that. We should probably get a roundhouse here as well. And then we got to also connect up to the iron mine and stuff and buy new engines and get more trains running. So lots of things.
Lots of stuff to do and only so much time to do it, man. It's a lot of time and a lot of fun working on the railroad. And it's a fun joy and a pleasure to get to railroad with you, Con. It's always fun.
Yeah, I know. Part of me wants to just spend 12 hours and just build everything and be like,
just get it done, finish it.
It's all done, and then get like $1 million and just boom, buy all the trains and have a fully fun. But I understand building up to the process is gonna be part of the enjoyment.
You gotta enjoy and build the rail line and treasure each little OCD moment in every perfect rail line we build.
Exactly.
It's like Bob Ross,
it's gonna be great.
Just another happy little rail line. Yeah.
But it's crap railroad. We build quality rails, but through unorthodox routes. So
Indeed.
That's although arguably the smelter, like you were saying, is probably actually the most accurate route so far.
So far, yeah. At least the smelter, the yard itself, the bridges. There's some merit to them, but maybe not. I don't know. Not steel bridges, at least. But if they were wood trestles, definitely.
Yeah, maybe wood trestles. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give us ideas for where you want us to go with Railroads Online. Obviously, so much stuff to do. So
plenty of fun still to come. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hey guys. Bye.